Thus far and no farther. I'm Jessica Denson, and this is Lights On. What are we doing to stop this blatant authoritarian takedown of American justice, law, and the Constitution? And if not now, when? This criminal regime, this criminal administration must go. Just this week, it was uncovered the DOJ has hired a the Department of Justice has hired a January 6th defendant who was caught on video yelling, kill them, meaning kill the January 6th Capitol police officers who were bravely defending the Capitol as Donald Trump sent his insurrectionist army to fight them. Somebody on camera, a man named Jared Wise, who was a January 6th defendant until Trump illegally took office in the beginning of this year, caught on camera saying, kill them. He is now a senior advisor at the Department of Justice. This is the same week that purges continue at the FBI, including of former acting director of the FBI, Brian Driscoll, the man you see on your screen. This was somebody who had so much integrity, who refused to out the names of the prosecutors who worked on January 6th cases. He was one of the shining examples at the FBI that there was still a semblance of law and order. And this week, Brian Driscoll was fired, along with other individuals who were involved in cases that Trump and his regime consider threatening to them. A man named Stephen Jensen, who was the acting director in charge of the Washington field office. A man named Walter Jardina, who was a special agent at the Bureau who played a role in the investigation of Peter Navarro, Trump's trade advisor. Blatant corruption from this regime, a blatant authoritarian playbook to out anybody who would engage in actual justice against the crimes that these individuals have committed or will continue to commit, and replacing them with lackeys, replacing them with people who helped Donald Trump carry out his crimes. This is also the same week in this scheme, this larger scheme of blatant corruption, that Donald Trump is once again trying desperately to pivot from the Epstein scandal, to pivot from the scandal that connects him with this sex offender, that brings out what we have known about Donald Trump for so many years, that he is an adjudicated sex offender himself. He has his administration, Pam Bondi, this quid pro quo attorney general, someone who should be frankly debarred from ever practicing law again, meeting with his vice president, meeting with his former defense attorney turned Justice Department official, meeting with Kash Patel, who was the head of the FBI, to figure out how to best cover up the Epstein scandal, and the meeting with Ghislaine Maxwell that resulted in this woman who was convicted of her role in sex trafficking being moved out of a high security prison to a low security prison, and the very possible likelihood that some kind of testimony would be coming out from this woman where it would obviously be skewed because promises have been made to her by this administration to have a story out that would benefit Donald Trump. Blatant corruption across the board. It is absolutely imperative that we take action before more damage is done to stop the sabotage of American democracy. In the backdrop of all of this, Donald Trump is trying to rig the election in Texas with the help of Greg Abbott and Ken Paxton. Of course, you have heard that Texas Democrats have left the state to try to stop this. It's incredible now that we're having an honest conversation about trying to rig an election when actually voting security experts, election security experts, not conspiracy theorists, have been from the rooftops that we need to secure our voting equipment and our voting machines. I am actually doing a deeper dive and trying to really bring that conversation to the forefront because of the threat that this poses to 2026 and 2028. It's part of the reason that we're doing an early edition of Lights On this morning, so that I can do some deeper coverage of that, which I'm going to bring to you over the next few days. And I'm really looking forward to doing that. If you're not already subscribed, please subscribe to the Jessica Denson YouTube channel where you are watching this. This is the home for action. I have some really important updates at the end of this show, but without further ado, it is my honor to welcome somebody, actually two people. So glad to see Aquilino show up. We weren't sure if he was going to. Two friends who have more perspective into this unthinkable hiring of this January 6th defendant than anyone else. Former Capitol Police Officer Harry Dunn and former Sergeant Aquilino Gonell. My friends, welcome back to Lights On. So good to have you both.
Jess, what's up? Hey, Jess.
Hey, I love to see Aquilino will get to us no matter what. I love this, and it's been too long. But Harry, we'll start with you for a second. And what were your thoughts when you heard that this man, Jared Wise, was hired into the Department of Justice? Somebody who was caught on camera saying, yeah, F them, kill them. Yeah, kill them.
Well, so his trial was going on where, the proceedings, he hadn't had an opportunity to go to trial yet. I mean, he entered his initial plea of not guilty. So a lot of the information didn't come out because before the trial took place, obviously Donald Trump pardoned everybody and the cases were all dismissed and they just walk away with their hands, clean. However, this recent story, like as people are learning about it now, I believe it was NPR. I could be wrong, but I think
it was NPR. Yes.
NPR obtained his body-worn camera footage from Metropolitan Police. And they were able to release the transcripts. So that's why, this is important. This story is coming out now. But he is now a senior advisor at the Department of Justice, somebody who, as recently as January 6th, was attacking police officers, telling people to kill them, calling us Gestapo. Not gazpacho. That's what Marjorie Taylor Greene called the code. But no,
the irony of that statement, he called you all Gestapo and Nazi when right now we actually have, the 2025 manifestation of Nazi happening on our streets every single day, and Gestapo with these ICE raids.
That's exactly what this is. So, and him being appointed, to the Department of Justice, it isn't surprising. Donald Trump and this administration seeks people that are loyal to him and not loyal to the Constitution. That's all they care about, is loyalty to themselves. So I'm not surprised at it. It's just a continuation of trying to whitewash, trying to erase what happened that day.
Yeah, it's sickening. And I remember, Harry, when you came to speak for us at the Veterans March we had back on March 14th, you talked about seeing all the people in uniforms as they were coming to the Capitol that day, and it kind of given you PTSD to see that, even though the people that were joining us that day were not there to storm the Capitol.
Good people.
But, they were good people. But I want to ask both of you, and let me just start with you, Harry, and we'll go to Aquilino. Like, what is your feeling when you see something like this inversion of justice, these people who were there to hurt you be put into power?
Well, I think it's safe to say that Kamala Harris wasn't wrong when she wasn't overreacting when she said, and her campaign said, that this could be the end of democracy as we know it. This is the start of authoritarian rule. It's the Trump regime now. It's not even the Trump administration. This is the Trump regime. And he wants to be like dictators. He's aligning himself with them. And it's scary what is happening. I haven't lost all hope yet. I posted on Blue Sky yesterday. My daily affirmation for that day was, I don't know how, I don't know when, but you all are going to pay for this. And that is my daily affirmation that I have to say daily that keeps me motivated to keep the fight going.
Yeah, it's really up to us. The proportion that we bring in the normalcy and the truth of this whole situation is really in proportion to our own faith in it, our own action towards that end. It's why I have been insistent, why I've formed the Removal Coalition to focus our efforts on getting this man out of power. Aquilino, it's interesting. I have had scholars on the show who have reminded me that in Nazi Germany in the 30s, Hitler would have never come to power if we had an insurrection clause in the Constitution like we do now in Section 3 of the 14th Amendment. Section 3 is the amendment to the Constitution that prohibits insurrectionists from taking power. Donald Trump right now and his entire administration is illegal. And we completely ignored that safeguard that we have. And as a result, have this unthinkable administration playing out. What was your reaction, Aquilino, when you heard that Jared Wise was hired into the Justice Department?
I mean, every accusation is a confession, and that's what they do. And when in terms regarding the constitutions, the Article 3, it pains me to see that so many people have obeyed in advance. All this the positions of power and trust have been always been respected by putting people in place that have the best interests of the country and respected the Constitution. Unfortunately, for this administration and this time around for the second Trump administration, a lot of the people who we have been put in place are people who are loyal to, like Harry said, to one person and one person only, not to the country, not to the national interest, not to the Constitution, but to the single person who they think that they are benefit more by aligning with him, regardless whether they put the future of the country in jeopardy or not. When it comes to not holding him accountable whatsoever at any level, even when he does it plainly on plain sight in broad daylight in front of them, to them. So it's baffling to know that so many people are not doing what they're supposed to and accepting those actions as normal, and it's not normal for a president to receive a plane, for example, from a foreign country without the approval of Congress. It's not okay for the president to make money while in office for selling things like a Bible or a watch or sneakers. So it's in broad daylight that he's doing, and he's abusing the Constitution. He's abusing his position of power. When you see this person, Mr. Wise, on January 6th, he was calling for the killing of his fellow officers, colleagues that he knew better that we were doing our jobs, and despite that, he was calling for us to be killed, inciting people to kill us when we were doing our job, simply doing our job, protecting members of Congress and our colleagues.
Yeah, you mentioned his former colleagues. This is a guy, Jared Wise, who was himself an FBI agent. He worked in the FBI from 2004 to 2017. And then was sucked into this Trump bubble, or maybe he was already going in that direction.
I mean, I give him credit with that. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No,
I
go
give him
ahead.
credit because, Donald Trump and many of his followers said, "Oh, it was a federation," or, insinuating that we're federal agents in the crowd. Well, now you have it. That was a perfect example of
Yeah,
one of the FBI agent or former FBI agent or government entity involved, and that was him.
Yeah. So, Harry, what do you think about what people in power, Democrats in particular on a federal level? We can look at the Texas Democrats for an example of the fight that needs to be put up right now. But what do you think about, you and I talked about this last time, if you had been elected to Congress, my God, why couldn't Maryland, you have put Harry Dunn in that seat? If you had been elected to Congress last time, you told me you would have rejected Donald Trump's electors on January 6th, in keeping with your oath, in keeping with Section 3 of the 14th Amendment. What do you think about when you see what Democratic leaders right now are or are not doing to stop this?
So a lot of people, and this may be the not popular opinion, or at least I think it's shifting. But we have legislators in Congress that are good legislators, that are very good, even ones who failed to reject the January 6th, the electors who I believe that there are very good legislators. However, I don't believe that a lot of them are. I don't want to say not. No, they're capable of this moment. I think that this moment caught a lot of them off guard, the way that it's actually playing out. I like to give our legislators, especially on the Democratic side, the ones that fight for people, that fight for people to love who they want to, women to choose what they want. I believe in those type of people. But this moment requires a special type of fighter. It requires a special type of backbone, some untapped courage. Like we're seeing from the people in Texas right now who are facing FBI hunting them down, who are facing prosecution, who are leaving their state, their jobs, their homes, their families. It requires that type of fight right now. And I hope, and this may be wishful thinking, that some Democrats and elected officials are getting the message right now. They are our hope right now. Obviously, we have a say in 2026, obviously. But right now, in this moment, they are our hope. So we need to continue to encourage them and to stand up for us. It's about us. So I had been disappointed. They're turning up the fire. It seems like slowly every day they're getting better at this. We have some very firebrand leaders. I think of Jasmine Crockett. I think of AOC just in the House right now. Just two phenomenal women that are out there just kicking butt out there every day. But I do think that we can ramp it up another notch. We need to not cooperate with anything. They're going to need Democratic help. And the fiscal year at the end of September. October 1 is the beginning of a new fiscal year. And Congress is going to have to pass a new budget, whether it's a CR, whether it's a clean bill. They're going to need Democratic votes. And under no circumstances should Democrats help them with the ICE raids that are going on, with the Trump regime doing whatever he wants to do, unchecked authority, unchecked power. Democrats need to continue to fight. And I hope we see some of that. We have an opportunity to in September when they start their budget talks and,
I just think
facing a shutdown.
I just think that a lot of Democrats are still under the old guideline that is business as usual.
Yeah, no kidding.
That these are reasonable people, and they're not.
Yes.
They're looking for loopholes, ways to continue the violation of the Constitution by overstepping their power, because the Supreme Court gave Donald Trump a lot of latitude in expansion of power, or some power that he considered that he could exceed. So his authority, he's testing the boundaries with the intention that, hopefully never a Democrat will try to do this, or that other politician or other future Congress is going to put some limits on those type of authority. So he's doing everything within his power to push the envelope to see,
and not within his power too. Not within his
power.
power.
Yeah, no, completely outside of the bounds of his power.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like he's pushing all those envelopes and pushing our system of governance to the point of, hey, we are okay with this as long as it's my party doing it. But I'm sure that next time, whenever there's a Democrat in power, they're going to try to say, well, that was a special occasion. Now we need to put some restraint on this type of behavior or power, because it's unchecked. It's unchecked right now, where anything that the president says, all these people are, instead of challenging him or pushing back on those ideations, they are saying, oh, sure, how can we help you? Like Texas is one perfect example, like you said earlier. Last time he asked Georgia, find me 11,000 plus vote, and they said no, we're not. This is illegal.
Yeah, I mean, we have to.
And now and now in Texas, Greg Abbott said, how many do you need? You need 3 or 5
Yeah.
or
How
more.
many seats do you need? And this is the whole thing. I mean, for you two lived, and we got to wrap this up because I know Harry has to go, and I actually go myself for what I'm here to report for. But you two lived what the deadly consequences of this man refusing to leave power the last time are. What kind of dream world are we living in if we think this man is going to peacefully transition out of power the next time the people want it? It's
Jessica, this MFer said he is entitled to more seats. He said that. He said he's entitled to. So I see, I'm reading a lot of the comments. Yes, the Dems need to take these damn gloves off like they're doing in Illinois, Gavin Newsom in California. Do it already. Don't wait for Texas to do it. Take them daggone seats away from them. The hell with all of them. Like this is not normal, and we can't play like we're playing in normal times.
There's no moral ground fight against these people. You know, like they are doing everything they possibly can and continue to find loopholes. And the Supreme Court, because the way is stacked up with the majority conservative or MAGA people, you know, they only going to continue to rubber stamp all these changes because they have been trying to overturn some of these rights and laws for 80, 60 years. So they're going to continue to do that and you know, agree with what Donald Trump says. So do.
Yeah, the moral thing to do is to fight with everything we have. That is the moral thing.
And use the same levers of power and the same type of weapons, the same type of loopholes that they are saying.
Absolutely.
The other day I saw briefly before we go. I saw Scott Jenney on TV saying, well, Democrats do the gerrymandering all the time, not in the middle of the decade. You know, that is by each state does it differently. And when they do it like a power grab, like they doing now, like the Republican in Texas, that is breaking the norm. So Democrat also needs to start breaking the norms. And if it is considered cheating for Republicans, yes, it is cheating for the Democrat. But if they're going to do it, then Democrat also needs to start cheating as well, because the only thing that is going to hurt is everybody else, and they are overwhelming the system. You know, so fight power with power.
Yeah, exactly. And also not forget that we have a constitution and pretend like you only use the constitution when you have the votes. You know, I just want to end on this note. Harry mentioned that the firebrands that we love their calling out, their clapbacks, like at Jasmine Crockett, like AOC. I would love to see either of those women join the ranks of Representative Al Green from Texas and lead the impeachment fight, like Representative Andre Carson, who voted against Rep. Green's articles of impeachment, and the next day said, wait a minute, I need to be on this bandwagon. You don't use the Constitution, use the one constitutional lever that you have to remove a tyrant like this only when you have the votes. You use it every single day. Before you guys leave, I'm just going to put these two flyers up on the screen. We have a big announcement, big event coming up on September 2nd. We at the Removal Coalition and Flair, my friend Cliff Clash with We Are the Flood, and a whole bunch of other major influencers. Also Carlos from American Opposition, Citizens Impeachment is behind this, Sons of Liberty. So many of our friends from this fight are going to be showing up on September 2nd in Capitol Hill at Congress to storm the Capitol the right way, the peaceful way. Let these people not forget the scandal that is Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump's connections to him, and demand that these Congress members invoke their constitutional authority and follow through with impeaching and removing this illegal administration. So big event on September 2nd, when Congress gets back into session. Also, those town halls are still going on. I urge you, if you have a town hall going on in your city, get to it. Put these representatives on the spot about impeachment and removal. Videotape yourself. Tag me on social media at Jessica Denson 07. I want to see those videos. I will put them out there. Show up. Let these people know how you feel. Please, join me in thanking my two heroic friends who got up with me this morning to do this show. Harry Dunn, author of Standing My Ground, and Aquilino Gonell, author of American Shield. Where is your image of your book there? Let me just put that up. 2 excellent books about the truth about what happened on January 6th. My friends, thank you as always. Such an honor to know.
Yeah, Jess, you got it. Can it be 15 more seconds?
Yes.
Can I say, so I think Democrats need to, everybody's saying impeach, impeach, impeach. You know what? With the Democratic majority, we have the opportunity to do that. So if you need some motivation for 2026, Democrats need to run. We're going to impeach this MFer every week. And even if the Senate won't convict, that's all right. We'll impeach again and again and again and again and again. Impeach him through the end of his damn term and get him the heck out of here. So I appreciate you.
You too, my friend. You too. You too, guys. Thank you so much. And thank you, everybody, for joining us today on Lights On. Thanks for being here in the morning with me. As always, you can support this show by going to thejessicadenson.com/donate or thejessicadenson.com, where you can get merch like this hat and shirt. I just want to thank everybody who, as always, but just a special thanks to who supports the show, who's a member of the YouTube channel, who leaves me the most extraordinary comments and beautiful support. I want you to know that I'm in this fight because of you, and you are extraordinary allies to me, and the love that I feel from you and your Lights On community and the people who love this country enough to fight for it and enough not to stand for this insanity and this cruelty and this injustice. Thank you so much for being in this fight with me. Have a wonderful weekend. Stay tuned for some special coverage. And as always, let your light shine.